Alrighty, welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. I hope everybody's having a good Monday out there after a long weekend here. A hot weekend. Maybe sunburned actually this time. May not be sunburned. You guys were spreading fake news about me being sunburned last time. Well, maybe I am a little bit this time. Alrighty, in today's show, we're going to break down the latest news and rumors. We're going to go through a segment of 3 players that I think are available in free agency that those players could start for the New York Giants. So 3 free agents that if the Giants sign them, I believe they could start. Then we're going to go down a trip down memory lane and talk about 4 former Giants that I believe the Giants could go out and sign an NFL free agency. Then we got a mailbag in today's show to answer questions from all of the real ones. And news of the day, Micah Parsons said what about Daniel Jones? We're going to break down what good old Micah had to say about Daniel Jones. It was good. I could say this. He loves him, and maybe he might be a Giant one day. We're going to break it down on today's show. Let's get the comment section going, though. Let's get a real one roll call, as we already have over 110 people watching as we just got live. We're going to give people a chance to come in, hit that. You hitting that? That push notification, get in their seats, get their popcorn, and get ready for the show because it is going to be a good one. If you're a real one, go ahead and type real one down in the comment section. I'll give some shout outs. Shout out to Jesus Diaz. What up, Gilly? Daniel, Aaron, Rosario, Guzzo. What up, Guzzo? Rob Jigga in the chat. What up, Brian? What up, C. Sanders? Tenacious Knight. Light Nebula. James Knox. What up, brother? Michael says, imagine Kayvon and Micah. Hey, all I'm going to say is the Cowboys better never let him be a free agent. Andrew said, what up, OJ? Norbis still in Network said, real one, you sexy beast. I appreciate that. Bashar Trader. King Carter. What up, King Carter? My man's a real one. Mitch Hates Rolly confirmed in the building is a real one. Matthew Valverde, of course you are a real one as well. Taekwon Lewis. Mr. Rick is in the chat. All good. Demiri Thomas. Eddie. Gus. We got a whole bunch of real ones in the chat. Shout out to Gilly, who is definitely a real one. Shout out to Gilly for the $2 super chat. Says, wear sunscreen, Marsh. The sad thing is I actually put sunscreen on and I reapplied, but it didn't. Do I look that red? Am I looking that red? It's not that bad. But yeah, the sunscreen unfortunately let me down. I put it on once, came back again, put it on again, and unfortunately did not work. You need that 4K SPF. Is that a thing? 4K SPF? I've only seen it go up to 70. If you got that, send a link, Gilly, because your boy is fried. And I'm not talking about the good fried. You know what I'm talking about. Shout out to you, Gilly, for the $2 super chat. If anybody super chats, we'll pop it up on show. And if you want to enter our mailbag, super chats are the best way to do that. I want to do this, though, as we got 130 people watching right now. Our Cowboys Report host, Tom Downey, messaged me today and pretty much just took a big old poop on the New York Giants. Said we're a terrible organization. Said Daniel Jones sucks. He said New York sucks. And he said our pizza stinks. So if you hate the Dallas Cowboys, I need you to hit that thumbs up icon right now. We got 130 people watching. If we can get to 100 likes, I may have to go get the tequila out of the back of the fridge and start taking some shots. Did a little drinking this weekend. I'm down to take it a little bit slow today. But if you guys want to party, I'm always down to party with the real ones. If you hate the Dallas Cowboys and you want to get back at Tom Downey and the Cowboys, a team that hasn't won a title since, 1996? I don't even think producer Seeps was a fetus the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Were they?
No.
When were you born? 99? You're
99.
a 90s baby.
Yeah, I am a 90s,
90s
baby.
baby.
So
90s baby. The Cowboys are a joke. Hit that thumbs up icon. And if you have liked the video, comment me down below, and we'll give you a shout out as we keep this rolling. And my man Cam Johnson coming in with a $5 super chat. Cam, thank you, Brody. I appreciate you. Oh, my Lord. That's Rob Rodriguez coming in. We'll get Rob Rodriguez with a $100 super chat. What a legend. What a legend. Everybody type those double R's in the comment section. Rob. Rob, shout out to Rob Rodriguez. The GOAT is in the building. He said, how do we get Mr. Tom Downey's address?
Message me after the show.
Yeah, Rob, give us a message after the show. How about we all just go in on a box of dog poop and we mail it to Tom?
Yeah.
And then we light it on fire so he has to stomp it out.
We got to do something. He's been so disrespectful to the city of New York in general.
Yeah, Tom Downey has been hating on the Giants like crazy. I hate how Cowboy fans, they speak from a pedestal. They're just better than other people. They haven't been a walking POS for 23 years. The Cowboys are a joke. Cowboys are a joke. If we can get Mr. Cha to get Cha poop and send it to Tom Downey, that would be electric.
I think that's
that would be electric. Rob, you're a legend, my man. I owe you a beer shot fund. F it. Cam Johnson, what up, brother? He says, getting a new dog. I love this because, I'm not even going to read any more of your comment, Cam. I will in a second. But the reason I love this, Seeps, is because I had really 3 childhood dogs. Bailey, who was a really nice lady, black lab. My poor dog, Hannah, which you guys know of, the little Yorkie, which was my mom dog. But we also had another black lab with the name of Shockey, as in Jeremy Shockey. So we are kind of the Green family. We have named our dogs after former New York Giants as well. So Cam, I don't feel like there's many more people out there that are more credible in this type of conversation than I am right now. But he says, for the new dog, the names are between Cruz as in Victor Cruz, Tiki as in Tiki Barber, or Xavier as in Xavier McKinney. What's your pick? Seeps, do you got one?
I'm going Tiki here. If I have to pick any of them, Tiki is a sweet name for a dog.
If it was a girl, I wouldn't mind Cruzy.
True. Yeah.
Cruzy for Victor Cruz. I like Tiki. Xavier, I just don't think is a dog name, unfortunately.
Maybe X, but
yeah.
Funny story. We were going to name my dog. We got him a week before Stephon Diggs got traded. His name we came down to, we were going to name him Diggs.
Really?
And then Diggs got traded. We were going to call him Diggsy and everything. And then he got traded the next week. So a little dangerous. That's why I like you going retired Giants. So I guess maybe stay away from Xavier McKinney because you never know.
Which is funny as well because when we got my dog Shockey, it was in October of 2007. Remember, the Giants won the Super Bowl in 2008 of February. But in that 2007-2008 season, Jeremy Shockey got hurt and ended up playing the last football of his career with the Giants. So we only had Shockey. And what's funny is when Jeremy Shockey ended up getting traded. So in 2007, I was 13 at the time. Shockey got traded. Once he did, and after we won the Super Bowl, I started trying to get my dog to understand his new name was Jeter. I tried to call him Jeter, and my dad was like, you just can't change the dog's name. He's like, you just can't change the dog's name.
That's funny.
So the dog's name remained Shockey. If I had to go with this one, I would either go Cruz or Cruzy, because Cruzy's a good nickname. You can call it Cruz, or Tiki. I like Tiki as well.
What about James Knox? Plaques for Plaxio.
Plaques, hopefully you keep the weapons away from the dog. And then never mind, that was dark. Cam, I like Tiki or Cruz. Yeah. Cruz is cool. I like Cruz.
Cruz is a good name.
Love that. As Chris Blades is coming in with a $2 super chat just to support the channel. Chris, if you have a comment, a question, a take, you want to get something off your chest, put it in the comment section. We'll pop it up on screen. Since you didn't include a message in your super chat, we'll talk about it. C. Sanders coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. We really appreciate it. It says, I hate the Cowboys. Do you hate the Cowboys?
I can't stand the Cowboys.
If you hate the Cowboys, hit that thumbs up icon. We got 145 people watching right now. Let's get to 100 likes because the Cowboys stink, but also Tom Downey, the host of the Dallas Cowboys Report, which is a channel here at Chat Sports, he's been talking a lot of mess about the Giants today, and it's pissing me off.
He's been being so mean to the Giants.
Like the Cowboys didn't win just as many games in the playoffs as the Giants did this year.
Yep.
Like they're just some high and mighty football team. F the Cowboys, let's go. As Gilly is back in the building. What up, G? Does Matt Peart make the roster? I believe he does. Could be a guy that gets trimmed right on the roster bubble, but he's still a young player who has starting experience and could be a backup swing tackle. He could play left tackle. He could play right tackle. And while he is not a starter, and I don't think he has starter-level talent, that swing tackle seeps is sometimes a really important position to have when they can back up the left and they can back up the right. And he's young.
And you could always use him as the sixth offensive lineman. Like I normally.
And we've seen Dable do that this past year.
Yeah.
Oh, big on big. Shout out to Migos. There you go, big on big. Shout out to Migos. I do want to let you guys know, though, I also host our New York Knicks NBA channel here at Chat Sports. And myself and Seeps, we are going to be live on New York Knicks now, Friday, right when NBA free agency opens. So we'll be live probably about 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. Eastern time. 5 p.m. Eastern time, myself, Patrick Seatman, we're going to be live on New York Knicks now, breaking down every move that goes down in NBA free agency.
Sir.
So subscribe to our Knicks channel. Link is below the screen. YouTube.com/KnicksTV. I want to see all these familiar faces that I'm seeing in the chat right now over in the chat on Knicks on Friday. So see you there or be square. We do got a mailbag coming up, excuse me, in a couple of minutes. If you want to get your questions featured on the mailbag, the easiest way is to use hashtag Giants. But when you do that, you're leaving your question up in the hands of producer Patrick Seatman. If he declares it's a good question, he might put it up on screen, or he might say no way, no how. But if you super chat and it is relevant to the Giants in any way, shape, or form, we will put it up on the mailbag. So hashtag Giants or super chat to get on the show. My man Rob Rodriguez is still lurking in the chat. And I know he loves it when we do the boots. I'm going to do this for my man Rob Rodriguez, who already sent in a $100 super chat. If we can get to 250, we're at 125 right now. Shout out to my man Mike G, who seeps. Mike G has the best initials in the game.
Oh, you think so?
I think Mike G has the best initials in the game.
MG.
If we get to 250 in today's show, I said I wasn't going to drink, but I'm down. F it. You guys know I'm down to party. 250, I'm doing a Happy Dad boot, and we're going to really start to party on today's show. As MG, Mike G, the GOAT, says, well, first off, Mike, thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you, my man. He says, MG, what up, MG? Who do you feel? Oh, that's Rob. We'll get to Rob in a second. Who do you feel is going to be the rookie with the most impact year one? And what is your stat line prediction for them? That's a really good question, Mike. I would say the rookie that's going to have the most impact for the Giants. I know I'm going super chalk right here. I think it's either going to be your first-round rookie in Deonte Banks, or I think it's going to be your second-round rookie in John Michael Schmitz, who, if Schmitz comes in, steps in, and is your day one starting center, and proves to be a good or an above-average player as a rookie, that could really raise the floor of the Giants' offensive line. If Schmitz is good, that's going to make life easier for Ben Bredesen. That's going to make life easier for Mark Lewinsky and Evan Neal and Andrew Thomas. It all starts with the man in the middle. So I'm going to pick a guy. I'm going John Michael Schmitz in year one, Mike G. The rookie center will be the biggest impact player out of the 2023 draft class for Big Blue. Stat line, not many stats to give for an offensive lineman, but I will say he is going to be graded out as a PFF top 12 center in the NFL after his rookie year. So a top third center. That's what I'm going with, Mike. Great question. Very thoughtful. And thank you for being a real one. As Rob Rodriguez is back again with the $100 super chat, which puts us $25 away from me doing a happy dad boo. I said if we get to 250, I'll do it. We're at 225. So Rob, no more from Rob. Rob, you're being too much of a real one. No one else, or someone else, not Rob. Rob, you've done plenty. Rob, thank you. Actually, our man Jeremy Chuggs, who was on the Knicks live stream on Friday, we're getting ready to send your ball out this week. Let me know if your address changed. I was going to send it to the same when you sent me your own. I'll just message you on Instagram.
Speaking of.
My man Chuggs, who just stepped in the building, he signed the ball as well for Rob Rodriguez. Hashtag tits is what he signed it as. Jeremy Chuggs, you're a legend, my man. Rob, thank you. The support is incredible. It does not go unnoticed, and it means the world to me. We're at 225, so I said if we get to 250, I'd do a boo. 500, I'll do a boo as well. Jeremy Chuggs, a.k.a. hashtag tits, just said, if we get to 500, me and him are going to do a beer boot race, and he's going to take his shirt off. That's what he said. He said that deal is out for the Open. As Crim's dad is in the building, he said, who won the real one black shirt? Our guy OG from New York Knicks Now, Crim's dad. He won the T-shirt. So shout out to him, and shout out to you, Crim's dad, because he's here. He's there. He's every effing where. Crim's dad. Shout out to Crimmy. Oh, and back-to-back super chats gets us to $250. Looks like I got a beer boot to knock down. Eric says, any Giants name for a pet, it's a good dog name. It's Giant Cruise, and I have a German show. Okay. Any Giants name for a pet, it's God. My dog's name, I think it's good is what he meant. It's good. Yeah. It's Giant Cruise. Of course it is. I think
Shep's a good one.
Shep would be a good one.
Shep's a good one.
I like Shep. I've been trying to think for the last 5 minutes of other Giants players that you can name dogs. What about a dog's named as Osi? I don't hate that. Osi Umenyiora or Tuck? Justin Tuck? Tuck could be cool because that's short for Tucker and Tuck. I like that one. Hazelnut says Tiki. What's another one? Dexy. Sexy Dexy. Dexter Lawrence. Dexy would be a good one.
Yeah, people I saw put him Barkley.
Barkley, I like that one.
That's a good one.
I like that. We are pro dogs on this channel. I would love to get a dog. But life's life. Eric Cruz, we appreciate you. And shout out to Giants Cruz. And your German Shepherd. German Shepherds are great dogs. Eric, we appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Gilly with a $20 super chat to get us to 250 says, what would a successful season from Deonte Banks look like? How many breakups, turnovers? Rookie corners are so hard to project sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's such a different learning curve. I think corner outside of quarterback, and I think if you go quarterback, offensive tackle, and corner are the three toughest positions to play in the National Football League. As Ahmad Noble is in the building and says Shockey. That was my doggie's name, Shockey. Shout out to him. Best black lab there ever was. But yes, Gilly, I don't know if the stats are all that important for him, but how about he just he steps in and he becomes a top after his rookie year? How about this? How about he's a top 2 corner from his rookie class? He competes with Christian Gonzalez and Joey Porter Jr. And Emmanuel Forbes. How about he's a guy, after the first year, you're just that was worth the first round pick.
Sauce Gardner this past season, All-Pro, he had 2 picks, 20 PBUs. It's tough to kind of gauge, I think, production from stats.
Exactly. I'm right there with you. What about he just how about we end the season, Gilly, and we're that is our CB1 for the future.
Yeah.
Because like Adoree Jackson's going to be a free agent. You're going to have to make a decision on him. Hopefully they bring him back. I'm a big fan of Adoree in his game. But I think if we walk out of 2023 and 2024, and we're heading into 2024, 2025, and we're like, Deonte Banks, after his rookie season, looks like he's going to be our starting CB1 for the next 10, 12 years. That would be a legendary. That would be electric. Like, that is all you could ask for, and I think that would be the ceiling of what it could be. Can I get 2-3 interceptions, 15, 12 pass breakups, something along those lines? But I'm looking deeper than just the numbers. I'm looking for impact, eye test, and do I feel comfortable in him being a top outside corner on this roster? That would be considered a successful season for me. Gilly, thank you for the love. We appreciate it very much. As Mike G is back in the building. Great initials, my man. He says, another for you, brother. Mike, thank you, sir. Thank you. He says, what's a potential deal look like for McKinney? Oh, that's a good question. I know not until next year, but he's just a stud, agreed, like people with MG in the Giants community. So figured I would see your thoughts on what a deal looks like. So let me look this up real quick. I think if Xavier McKinney did not have the hand injury that he had in the bye week in Mexico, he would be in line to get paid before this season. So I'm looking at the highest paid safeties in the National Football League. Let's go average annual value. Derwin James comes in number 1 at $19 million. Minka Fitzpatrick, $18.2. Jamal Adams, $17.5. Jesse Bates, $16 million. Harrison Smith, $16. Justin Simmons, $15. Budda Baker, $14.7. Eddie Jackson, $14.6. Kevin Byard, $14.1. And Marcus Williams, $14.0. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the top 10 safeties in the National Football League all make over $14 million per year. I would say anywhere from $12 to $14 million, 12 to 15, anywhere in between there is where I think a guy like Xavier McKinney is going to be looking for. That's the price he's going to want. Go back to last offseason. Justin Reed signed that multi-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, and his average annual value is $10.5 million. So I think anywhere from $10 to $15 million per year. Final answer. $10 to $15 million per year is probably what McKinney is looking for. Maybe 4 years, $50 million, a deal he's looking for, 25 guaranteed. He's going to have to play this year out. If he makes a step and becomes a top 10 safety in this league, it's going to be on the higher end of that deal, $15 million. It's a good question, though. The safety market always seems to play out interestingly in the offseason. So, obviously, as a Giants fan, I would like, this is going to sound terrible. I'd like for the Giants to get him on a deal and a discount. But as a fan and a guy who respects Xavier McKinney, I want him to get his money as well. But I would say $10 to $15 million per year, Mike, is what I'm expecting for the market to materialize for Xavier McKinney. Mike, appreciate you, brother. Great initial as well. Shout out to the MGs around the world. Chris Blades. What a name, Chris Blades. If your last name is Blades, do you have to be a barber?
Yeah, or like a cook.
Or a cook, I like that. Chris Blades. That ass. What up, brother? Appreciate the super chat. He says, could you take a shot for my fiance? It's her 21st. All right, let's do this, Seeps. Let's do this. Can you go get me a boot?
Yeah.
And then a shot of tequila. I'll take a shot of tequila in toast for Chris Blades. Oh, Lord. And then Robert, I just saw, we'll get that in a second. Seeps is going to come get me a boot. We'll do the boot. I owe Robert a boot. He came in and he got the party started. So we'll do that. And then also, Chris Blades will take the shot for your fiance. Seeps going to run out there, go get me a tequila shot. Then we're going to start today's show. Bill on the grill. What up, Bill? Did you see that pizza? Pizza for 25. that would have been epic. I also want to give a huge shout out to Rob Rodriguez, who just came through with a $25 Venmo to get us to the total of 250. Other people also chipped in, showed a lot of love. We've already been crushing it on today's show. Let's go. Happy birthday to Miss Blades. Type the HBDs in the chat for Miss Blades. Everyone's already doing it, and I love it. Chris Blades says, I'm a mechanic. I think that also fits the title of having Blades as your last name. You got to be a hands-on, badass, get it out the mud, blue collar. If your last name is Blades, you're a doer, and you are, Chris. Shout out to you, my man. Type the HBDs in the chat for Mrs. Blades. That is epic. Happy birthday. Let's freaking go. Shout out to Rob Rodriguez as well for the $25 Venmo. We're going to get into our show in a couple of minutes. We're talking about free agency rumors. 3 players the New York Giants could sign that could start for them right away. So we'll talk about those guys. Then there's also 4 former Giants that are still NFL free agents that I think the Giants may look at, call at. Maybe it's just going to be a fun segment where we look in the past and talk about some former New York Giants legends that maybe could reunite with them. Then we're going to talk about what Micah Parsons had to say about Daniel Jones because it was pretty juicy. It was pretty juicy. Micah Parsons, all I'm going to say is he's a Daniel Jones fan, and he's a Northeast guy, went to Penn State. Maybe he wants to be a New York Giant down the road. Oh, the happy dad's bubbling today. The happy dads are bubbling today. Let's ride. I'll do the happy dad boot. First, though, I'm going to do a shot at tequila because it's Mrs. Blades' birthday. Big 2-1. 21. Can you do some for me? So shout out to y'all. Blades, we appreciate you. Happy birthday. Happy wife, happy life. Love this. Shout out to the Blades. And Blades said he's a mechanic. And I said that fits the job description. You got to be a blue-collar guy if you're going to be Blades.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out.
I see our good old friend Johnson, you came in here when I was gone and just decided to stir the pot a little bit, Marsh.
Woo! JU. Jets own your stinking franchise, Aaron Rodgers, for the win. That's a joke. Johnson, you.
The biggest troll.
He's a troll. Everyone type FJ in the comments. Just FJ. FJ in the comments. Let's go. Mr. Rick says, remember when Gettleman passed on Micah? There's more to it than that, though. There's more to it than that. Which is also fair on my part. Because if the Giants did take Micah Parsons in that draft where they didn't trade down and take Kadarius Toney, they would have only had 1 first-round pick in the 2023 NFL draft, and they probably would have took Evan Neal, which means no Kayvon Thibodeau, but Parsons is much better than Thibodeau at this point, so I don't know if I actually would have been that mad. But also, if you had Parsons, would you have ended up picking inside the top 7, and would you have Evan Neal? Just a lot of different ways to look at it, although I would like to, unfortunately, have Micah Parsons more than Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau. But that's not the reality. Reality is, look, if you just want to bash on Gettleman, I'm there for it. I mean, I'm always down to talk trash about Gettleman. But I talked myself into a mental pretzel there, and I'm still upset that Gettleman passed on Micah, Mr. Chop. I tried to talk myself out of it. I'm still upset. So, yeah. All righty, let's do this while I knock down this boot. If you have liked today's video, I want you to type me in the comment section. Seeps is going to give you a shout out because we got a whole bunch of Giants fans in here. We got almost 200 people watching. We're at 96 likes. And if you hate the Dallas Cowboys, like this video. Shout out to you guys. An awesome show already. I said once we got to $250 in super chats, we do a happy dad boot. And here we are. So we're doing it.
Let's go. Shout out to you guys. Marshall's final last words coming into the studio today. We're not drinking. Shout out to you guys. Change that mind real quick. Shadow King TV, type in me. He liked the video. Slim Cash saying me, dude. You already know Cha, Mr. Rick liked the video. We're at 103 likes. Keep it going. Gilly saying F the Cowboys. I already know Gilly liked it. Michael Parsons saying F the Cowgirls. Chris Blades, a real one. You already know he liked it. Shout out to your fiance. Bill, already in the chat. Bill also made our day when you tweeted that picture out to Marsh and I. We had a pretty good time with that. The chicken's looking good. I think we just might have had Marsh's record right there. Crim's dad in the chat. Crim's dad, miss ya. Marsh, how you feeling? No bueno? No bueno? I see.
Woo! That burns, dude.
I'll get you fired up.
What a day. What a frickin' day.
We got content.
Yeah, we got 3 shows to go through. So here, let's get to it, huh? Dude, my shoulders hurt so bad. Just by doing this right here. Shout out to you guys. Let's ride. Put that right there. All righty. Whew. Give me a sec. Rob says it burned. Sadly, it did not burn worse than my sunburn. My sunburn burned so bad. It hurts so bad. All righty. Let me give me a second. Woo! If you hate the Cowboys, like this video. Let's go. I need some juice. Pick me up. All right. All righty.
Everybody in the chat right now, spam Marshy. Spam Marshy in the chat. He needs your help. He needs your motivation. He needs the backing of the New York Giants now, real ones. I am Barkley, spamming Marshy. Jesus Diaz, typing Marshy. Nolan, Chris Blades, Marsh, they need you.
Dude, that one hurt. I wasn't ready for that.
Fluke Nasty, typing Marshy.
Michael Pond says, Marsh, I hope Nike pays you. We're giving him a lot of views.
Seriously.
We're giving him a lot of views.
Marsh Madness, I love that. Marsh, you feel the love?
I do.
Love from the chat right now?
I feel much better. Rob says, how can we get a Real Ones t-shirt? If you go to chatsports.com/realknicks, a couple will pop up there, and then if you know how to work a computer, you'll find yourself to multiple colorways. Chatsports.com/realknicks is how you can get a Knicks a Real One shirt. There's Knicks ones. There's a whole bunch of different kind of ones up there if you're looking for one. Seeps had one on earlier. Good tease. Chris Blade says, dude, I'm watching right now, watching the show. We need you. All right, I'm ready. I'm back. Chris, I'm doing it for you, Chris. I'm doing it for the real ones. All righty, let's get into it. Let's ride. What's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. For today's show on the channel, I wanted to go through 3 NFL free agents that are still out there that the New York Giants could sign and that they wouldn't have to spend a lot of money on. All 3 of these fellas would be very affordable free agent targets, but I didn't just want to look at 3 free agent targets. I wanted to look at 3 guys that the Giants could sign that could start for the New York Giants. So position of needs, players available that would start and play a whole lot of snaps for Big Blue this season. Let's start with a linebacker, a former Pro Bowler, and a guy that actually had a free agency visit with the New York Football Giants, and that's Deion Jones. Remember, Jones met with the Giants and in the later parts of NFL free agency prior to the NFL draft, and a lot of people thought if the Giants couldn't get a linebacker in the later rounds that they liked, they would circle back to Jones in free agency and try to iron out a deal. But they ended up doing that with Ashawn Robinson, which means they may not had enough money at the current time for Deion Jones, which they could create the money. I don't think it would take all that much, maybe 1 year, $3 million deal. Jones at one point was one of the best linebackers in the National Football League. In 2019, he had 110 tackles. The next year, he had 106 tackles. The year following that, he had 137 tackles. And he's also a linebacker that can get to the quarterback. But my favorite part of what Deion does is his athletic ability, his player profile, and the archetype he brings to the game. He can play sideline to sideline. He's one of the fastest linebackers in the NFL, and I think the Giants need to continue to bring more team speed to that linebacker position. And with Jarrad Davis potentially being linebacker 2 for the Giants entering this season, I believe Deion Jones is a better football player than him, and I think he would be a better fit alongside Bobby Okereke, who is no doubt going to be your starting inside linebacker number 1. I would take Deion Jones over Jarrad Davis. While the Giants don't need Deion Jones, they would definitely be a better football team with him, because I think Darian Beavers is going to have a good season as he comes back from that torn ACL. Micah McFadden has reportedly really been impressing in camp. Wink Martindale talked about him. Bobby Okereke talked about him. So maybe they want to go with a younger guy. But if you want someone who's the best available player at that position right now in the free agency market, that's Deion Jones. Okereke, Jones, that's the most speed the Giants linebacker position would have had in a long, long time. So before we talk about the other 2 free agents the Giants could sign that could start for this football team, I want to ask you this about Deion Jones, the inside linebacker. Should Big Blue sign him? Should Joe Schoen get a deal done with Deion? Let me know. Type S for sign, type P for pass. I want to hear from you down below. This is the pinned comment on today's show. So if and when you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and let me know. Should the Giants sign Deion Jones? The best receiver left in NFL free agency is DeAndre Hopkins. And I'm sure a lot of people are like, why are we talking D-Hop? Because it's the segment of the day. We're talking about free agents that could start for the Giants. The Giants have not shown interest really in DeAndre Hopkins. There was that time when Brian Dable said, I believe at Giants OTAs, that they do their due diligence. So they probably reached out and asked him what it would cost, and it was probably too much. Hopkins has visited the Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots, but reportedly wants to drive up his market a little bit more. Hopkins and others are in no rush to sign with training camp about a month away. And although I don't necessarily think the Giants are in on DeAndre Hopkins, there's no doubt about it that if he was signed, he would step in and be wide receiver 1 for this football team. I know a lot of people talk about age and injuries, but man, when the guy plays, he's still one of the best in the business. Last year, in just 9 games, he had almost 70 catches for 700-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. In 10 games played in 2021, he had 8 touchdowns. Only missed 1 game, or I guess it was 2 games, due to injury in 2022. He had that 6-game suspension as well. I'm not worried about the injuries as much as other people. I just think the price point and the cost of signing D-Hop is going to be a little bit too much for the Giants and Mr. General Manager Joe Schoen. No doubt about it, he would be the number 1 wide receiver, but I don't think the Giants necessarily need DeAndre Hopkins. Would it be nice? Absolutely. Would the Giants be better with DeAndre Hopkins? Absolutely. Would it make life for Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley better? Absolutely. But do you need Nuke? Do you need Hopkins? No, the Giants are just fine. Albeit they don't have that elite top-tier wide receiver 1, but they don't need to allocate that many more resources to the wide receiver position. So for that, I would say the Giants don't need him, and I don't believe they are going to sign him. But I want to circle back to who the Giants have at that position group, talking wide receivers. What's your confidence level in these fellas? How confident are you that the Giants wide receivers are going to be productive this year? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident, 10 being you are extremely confident. Rate your confidence in the Giants receivers in the comment section. And remember, guys, to subscribe to the channel, because if the Giants sign Deion Jones, or they do the unthinkable and they sign DeAndre Hopkins, or they make a trade, or an injury happens, or whatever goes down around the Giants, we're going to put a video out on this channel. We put out Giants content every single day, so subscribe if you love Big Blue. The last player we're going to talk about in today's show is defensive back John Johnson. I think the only position group outside of linebacker that I could actually see the Giants adding to this deep in the NFL offseason is the safety position. And John Johnson used to be one of the best safeties in the NFL. He's definitely a good run stopper, and I like the actual thought of him playing alongside Xavier McKinney. This past year, Johnson had over 100 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 4 tackles for loss. I think Johnson in a Wink Martindale defense where he could get creative, move them all over, kind of play that star position, get him at a big nickel, hop into the box could make some sense. And the reason I think the Giants could look at that safety position alongside McKinney is just because they don't have the most talent there. I thought Pinnock played pretty well when he had to sub in for McKinney following that hand injury on the ATV in Mexico. I like Dane Belton, the young kid. I think Javarius Owens, the 7th-round pick out of the University of Houston, the former Cougar, makes some sense, and he's got some juice. Bobby McCain is a strong veteran. Best days behind him, but definitely a guy that's versatile and could bring some juice and a spark to this defense. So you don't necessarily need a safety, but if you wanted to bring in a guy who was at one point a top guy in this league to pair alongside Xavier McKinney, John Johnson is the best on that market. We've talked about receivers. We've talked about linebacker, and we've talked about safety in today's show. So I want to ask you this question before we bounce up out of here. What position group are you most worried about this season for the New York Giants? Be honest with me down below. I want to hear from you guys. I really value your opinion. I go down and I look at the comment section all the time. So what position group are you most worried about? Let me know down below. And remember to subscribe to our New York Knicks channel here at Chat Sports. I am the host over there, and we are going to be live for NBA free agency coverage on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe even Monday. So if you want to watch the NBA free agency period unfold and hang out with myself and Patrick Seatman, subscribe to Knicks Now, the hottest channel in all of YouTube. Go to youtube.com/KnicksTV and subscribe and join us then. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in, taking part out of your busy day, and just rocking with us here for a couple of minutes here on the channel. So thank you. I appreciate you. And if you want to chop it up some more, we can always do so on my Twitter @MarshallGreen_. Dude, my stomach hurts so bad. It's killing me. It's killing me, man. The stomach is hurting. All right, let me give some shout-outs here. I asked you guys, what position group are you most worried about? Gilly says edge depth. Jesus. Ishmael says wide receiver. Jesus Diaz says O-line. Barkley says cornerback. Mr. Rick says QB. Trayvon says edge depth. Little Bulldozer says guards. Mike says edge. We need more depth. Michael says corner or edge. Gavin says O-line until proven otherwise. Very fair statement, Gavin. Fluke Nasty sell O-line still worries me. Gilly says our edge depth is frightening. I agree. I've talked about edge depth on this channel time and time again. And the reason I didn't include an edge in that segment we just did was because there wouldn't, whether it be Yannick Ngakoue or Justin Houston, they technically wouldn't start for the New York Knicks, right? For the New York Giants with Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari on the roster. Although I could say the biggest hole on this team, and I will say it, is that excuse me. Woo! Is Jesus, I'm dying. Seeps, come back. All right, we're back. It is that edge depth. That third edge rusher spot is the biggest hole right now for the New York Giants. I love Thibodeau. I love Ojulari. I can't ignore their injury history, and I just think you need a little bit more depth at that position. Luke says the Knicks suck. Well, Luke, go piss off. Piss off, Luke. I'm just messing with you. A little bit. Make sure you guys vote in our poll today in the live chat. I asked, who is your NBA team? Who's the NBA team that you like to root for? I gave you options to vote for the Knicks, the Nets, the Celtics / the 76ers, or it's another team, or you just hate the NBA. And we have 277 votes in today's poll. 54% of people said that they like the Knicks. 30% of people said their favorite team is other, or they just hate the NBA. So That's fair. That's fair. Bill says, side note, Shep's looking good. He does. Yeah, Mr. Bill, Sterling Shepard looks good. He does. He does. He looks quick. He looks healthy. If he can stay healthy all year, that's going to be huge. Huge for the Giants. Huge for the Giants. Jesus Diaz says Tommy DeVito is going to be the NFL MVP. You and Mr. Rick believe it. If y'all two believe it, I'll believe it. Whew. As Mr. Chaw, right on cue, is in the chat, hyping up DeVito. We do have a mailbag coming up in today's show. If you want to be featured on it, hashtag Giants or Super Chat. I want to get some questions from some real ones, as my man Ben G-Men from SoCal. What up, brother? What up, what up, what up? We got 180 people watching right now. If you could, hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get up to 150 likes on today's show. And if there's no other reason to like the video, what about this? If you hate the Dallas Cowboys, hit that thumbs up icon. Our Cowboys host here at Chat Sports, the boot is getting me. Our Cowboys host here at Chat Sports, Tom Downey, he's been talking some smack about the Giants, and it's been pissing me off. So if you hate the Cowboys, like this video. Let's go. Dude, I almost died of a cough attack while you were gone.
Cough attack?
A cough attack. I couldn't stop coughing, and then I lost breath for about 10 seconds.
What happened?
It's been a rough day for me. I had the boot, the sunburn. Coughing hurts because
this is your flu strain. This is
brutal. This is brutal.
It's Monday. We're just getting gritty right now.
We are. Rob, Jigga, what up, Rob? My man said Tevin Tyrell. Tevin. That's got to be Tevin. Tevin says, can Flott be a starter? I think he can start. I think he can start in the slot. Cordell Flott. Say that
Cordell
10 times.
Slot.
Yeah, Cordell Slot. That's what I nicknamed him. I want Cordell Slot to be our starting slot corner. I don't think he can play on the outside when you have people like Jackson and Banks, who you've invested a lot of capital, I guess is the word right there. But I do think Cordell Flott has some juice in the slot.
Cordell Flott's got some juice in the slot.
He does. Ask KJ Osborne. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Throw a better ball.
In today's video that we're about to talk in, Seeps, it's June. It's pretty much July.
NFL teams aren't even at their buildings right now.
A lot of people, this is the dead time for NFL. So I wanted to have a fun segment today. I wanted to talk about 4 former Giants that New York and Joe Schoen could sign an NFL free agency. So 4 players that used to play for the Giants that Joe Schoen can go out and sign to the 2023 Giants. I thought it was a cool segment.
That sounds fun.
Sounds
it's
fun.
A fun video.
We're all about having fun here on the channel. So I hope you guys are ready. Let's get into it. All righty, in today's show, I wanted to have a fun video for all of the real ones. It's the end of June. July is around the corner. It's kind of the dog days of the NFL offseason, right? But in today's show, I wanted to look into the past, and I wanted to just talk about some Giants legends. So in today's show, we're going to talk about 4 former Giants, 4 guys that used to play for the Giants that I think if Joe Schoen wanted to, he could sign them, and it actually makes some sense. Some guys still have some juice to give. They play positions of needs. So we're going to talk about 4 former players, 4 Giants legends that the Giants could sign right now in 2023 and be a part of the roster. Let's start with a guy that was literally on the Giants this past year for his second stint with Big Blue. What about Landon Collins, the former safety, now inside linebacker? He had some good moments for the Giants last year. Most notably, remember that pick 6 against the Indianapolis Colts, going down the left sideline, high-stepping in the end zone? It was a lot of fun. And I have a soft spot for Landon Collins. I mean, for so long, he was one of the best safeties in the NFL, wear number 21 for Big Blue. I respect the hustle. I respect the commitment. I respect the grind. And I respect really just the way that he honored the New York Giants. In 6 games played last year for Big Blue, Collins had 15 tackles, that 1 interception, that was a pick 6, 2 pass breakups, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. And he's a guy that I think could get some snaps at this inside linebacker room if they don't add anything to it. Obviously, Okereke is your starter at that position. Jared Davis is a guy that just signed in Week 17 last year that ended up starting Week 17 and the playoff games for you. So obviously the coaching staff likes him a little bit. But after those 2 guys, there's not a lot of NFL experience at this position. Carter Coughlin's a young buck. Darian Beavers missed last year due to an ACL tear. Micah McFadden is a young player, but he's impressing inside the building. And Cam Brown has never really found his way as a defensive player, but he's found his calling card as a special team specialist. So when it comes to Landon Collins, I wouldn't hate a veteran minimum deal for LC to return and play for Big Blue. Yet again, even if it's a deal for Collins where he signs midway through the season to come play for the Giants, hopefully not, knock on wood, we have no injuries this year, right? But that's just not the reality of the National Football League. If the Giants do have an injury at that inside linebacker spot, I wouldn't mind Joe Schoen calling up Landon Collins, who I think is a versatile player and could have a role in this team and fit well like he did with Wink Martindale. I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't hate a vet min deal for the former Crimson Tide defensive back. So I'll ask you this question. Should the Giants re-sign Landon Collins? Let me know what you think down below. I want to hear from all the real ones in the comments section. Do you want to bring LC back to New York? S for sign, P for pass. We know the Giants need to add some edge depth and pass rushing depth to this roster. What about JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, who had a very, very storied and notable and memorable career with the Giants? When you look at the Giants' defensive line right here, the front 4 is great. It's a very top-heavy room, right? Kayvon Thibodeau, have a lot of trust in him. Leonard Williams, really good player. Dexter Lawrence, one of the best, if not the best nose tackle in the National Football League. When Azeez Ojulari is healthy, he's a guy that's really productive. He was a top player last year in the NFL in snaps per sack. It was the injuries that held him back. But outside of Thibodeau and Ojulari, you don't have much NFL production at the edge spot. O'Shane Zimenez, Ryder Anderson, and Timon Fox aren't really great backup options. You have Jihad Ward, but I believe Ward is more of a DT than an outside linebacker and an edge rusher. While Jason Pierre-Paul is not that same guy that he was when he was a part of the Super Bowl champion New York Football Giants, he's still a good player. He has a little bit of juice, and he's someone that I think could be a leader and a captain and a role model for younger defensive ends like Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari. Last year for the Ravens, only had 3 sacks, only 2.5 sacks in 2021. And while 2020 and 2019 may be behind him, the guy had 17.5 sacks in those 2 seasons. Look, if you can get Pierre-Paul on a vet min deal, he gets you 3-4 sacks. He's a mentor. He's a big bro, and he's someone that brings some winning energy and spirit and professionalism to the Giants. I think it'd be worth it to bring back JPP. Shout out to number 90. We'll get to 2 more players that I think maybe the Giants could use. But first, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. Videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. We're live for all preseason games. We're live for all of the regular season games. And we're going to be live for the playoffs and the Super Bowl this year. I'm speaking it into existence. I also want to just say thank you to everybody that has helped us get to 29,000 subs. I really, really appreciate it. But 30K, we're coming for you. 30,000 subs. Let's get to it. Andrew Adams. What about him bringing him home? A former New York Giant who was actually on the Giants as recent as last year. Andrew Adams was the guy that spent the later half of the NFL offseason with the Giants, did not making their final 53-man roster, went and signed and played elsewhere, and actually was a pretty productive player this past year. I believe receiver, safety, corner, and linebacker are really the position the Giants could still add to, and strong safety makes a lot of sense. Last year, Adams played in 13 games for the Tennessee Titans and had 62 tackles, 1 interception, and 3 pass breakups. He also had a couple of good years for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. While he's not a superstar, he's not a guy that's going to need to start. He has special teams versatility. He's a veteran. He knows what it takes to play and make it in this league for a long time. And he's a guy that wore the big blue for some time. The Giants ended up drafting him coming out of college, played pretty well for them, and then went on to win a championship with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, this current regime likes him. They had him in the building last offseason. Could Joe Schoen circle back and bring the veteran Andrew Adams in for a little more competition at that safety spot? We will see. I do know this, though. We have an awesome deal for all of the real ones out there. If you want to get a Giants hat and a Giants t-shirt for $23.99, step one, you got to be a subscriber. So go hit that big red sub button. And then go to chatsports.com/Giants hat combo. That's chatsports.com/Giants hat combo and get yourself a hat and a t-shirt for less than $24. The deal will not last forever, so take advantage of it right now. The last former Giant we're going to talk about in today's video. What about bringing back Justin Pugh, the offensive lineman, the former Giant? I don't hate it. It's just a crowded offensive line right now for New York. Like, Pugh can play the center. He's really more of a guard at this point. He can play all over the offensive line, which I think is a valuable piece for him. But right now I see him as an interior piece. And you kind of already have competition at that spot, right? I think Ben Bredesen is the leader in the clubhouse to be your starting left guard. But Joshua Izudu was a top 70 pick last year. Marcus McKeithen was picked last year. They obviously like Shane Lemieux because they haven't cut him because he haven't played in 2 seasons. So you have a little bit of competition right there. But if you wanted to bring in a veteran that has NFL experience and a lot of starts under his belt, Pugh could be that guy. He's not the guy that he once was with the Giants or early on in his tenure with the Arizona Cardinals. He's more of a veteran 6th, 7th, 8th offensive lineman on game day for you that's got experience, could help a younger guy, teach a guy like John Michael Schmitz what it's like to be a rookie in a media market like the Giants. Only played in 5 games last year. Injuries continue to bother him, and he wasn't all that great, to be honest with you. 0 sacks allowed, which was the best thing going for him in his stat sheet. I don't see this one happening, to be quite frank with you. And honestly, I don't even see the Jason Pierre-Paul one happening, unfortunately. If I had to say who were the most likely of the 4 guys to be signed by the Giants, I'm going with Landon Collins or Andrew Adams, because they are the 2 players that this new regime and Joe Schoen, Brian Dable, and Wink Martindale have showed that they like these guys. I mean, Adams was in the building last year. Collins was on the team last year. So those are the 2 guys I would keep my eyes out for, is if the Giants signed any of these 4 players we talked about, it would be one of these 2. I want to close today's show with this question right here. Who is your favorite Giant of all time, not named Eli Manning, not named Lawrence Taylor? Those are the 2 easy ones to go to. So no LT, no Eli. Who is your favorite New York Football Giant of all time? Sound off for me down below. And also, if you are an NBA fan or you just want to hang out with myself or Patrick Seatman, do it Friday night, as we are going to be live on our New York Knicks Now channel here at Chat Sports. NBA free agency is getting rolling on Friday, and myself, Pat Seeps, we're going to break it down live. So if you love the Knicks or you just love us, subscribe. YouTube.com/Knicks TV. That link will be in the comments and description of today's show. All righty, who is your favorite Giant of all time, not named Eli Manning or Lawrence Taylor? I'm seeing some Michael Strahans, a Mark Bavaro, Victor Cruz, Justin Tuck, Steve Smith. These are good. Brandon Jacobs, Jason Sehorn, Jeremy Shockey. These are all good answers. Tommy DeVito from Mr. Rick. Oh, Jermaine says OC. Dragon says Saquon. Harry Carson and Bavaro from Ghost. Ron Johnson from Elliott. Gilly says Jacob was a fourth. Brandon Jacobs is one of the more intriguing players and I think underrated running backs of all time.
Ron Johnson, he does great work for the Vikings.
Really?
Yeah, he's like one of their reporters there. He is great. He's probably the best media member for them.
And he played for the Giants?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
the
that.
same Ron Johnson, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Ron Johnson's a pretty common name.
Yeah, but running back, right?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't heard of Ron Johnson. I'm a bit of a younger cat. I'm sure my dad would be mad at me for saying that. Carl Banks, Antonio Pierce. Hakeem Nicks is a guy that doesn't get a lot of love either. David Wilson. Corey Webster. Great answer, Brian. What about Terrell Thomas? He deserves some love. Thomas deserves some love. I haven't seen a Kenny Phillips. I think he deserves some love. Another guy I think deserves some love. What about Antrell Roll? Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. Kind of these newer generation Giants. Roman says OBJ. I ain't mad at OBJ. A lot of answers you could go with. I don't even know what my answer would be, so I'm going to cheat, and I'm not going to give one. But I'm not mad at Strahan or Tuck or Cruz or Nix. I got some love for Mario Manningham, too. I wouldn't even be mad if you said David Tyree, as he has maybe the best catch in NFL history. We're going to close out today's show with a mailbag, a Q&A, where I'm going to answer questions from you guys. So if you want to be featured on today's show, Aaron Ross, great answer right there, Tevin. If you want to be featured on today's show, just comment down below in the comment section and make sure to include #Giants. That will get you into the question pool where Patrick Seatman can pull questions from and get them up on the show. So if you want to answer today, want to get your questions answered, on today's show, #Giants or Super Chat. Super Chats guarantee your way into today's show. Kevin Boss is a good one. There's Bradshaw deserves some love as well. I'm not even going to be mad if you give some love to the O-linemen. Sean O'Hara, Kareem McKenzie, Matthias Kiwanuka from E-Man. That's a good one. There's a lot of people you could love for the New York Giants. I've always had a soft spot for Justin Tuck. Yeah, I like Tuck a lot. I also like Sterling Shepard a lot. I know he hasn't accomplished much. I just like this. He loves being a Giant. He does. I love Hakeem Nicks. Love Mario Manningham. Love Terrell Thomas, Corey Webster, Antonio Pierce. A lot of people you can go with.
Joseph.
Linval Joseph, former Giant.
Big hungry.
A lot of people you could go with. One more time, remember this Friday night, we are going live on our Knicks Now by Chat Sports channel, youtube.com/KnicksTV. If you want to hang out with the gang, myself, Patrick Seatman, on Friday night, we're going to be live on our channel breaking down all the moves that are going down across the association as NBA free agency opens up. So subscribe, youtube.com/KnicksTV. As E-Man Perry says, Snacks Harrison. I actually saw Snacks Harrison last week, so he's a good dude. He was really nice. Let me get a picture with him. We chopped it up for a little bit. Good guy. All righty. Last chance. #Giants or Super Chat if you want to get on today's show. Let's get into it. What up, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We got a mailbag coming up for everybody out there. If we didn't get to your question today, well, probably blame yourself, because the only requirement to get on today's show is you have to be a subscriber. So subscribe to the channel, hit that big red sub button, or go to youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. We put out videos every day on Big Blue with the latest news, rumors, and whatever is going down. We're your one-stop shop, all 365. First one coming in from It Has Always Been F. Roley. If you're a real one, you know. Nick Roloff, he produces a lot for us here at Chat Sports. He's been on Giants channel as well. He's a Miami Heat fan, and he's a fraud. So F. Roley, type it down below. He said, I already know where this is going. Did you see what Micah Parsons said about Daniel Jones? I think he wants to be a Giant one day. What do you think, Marshy? #Giants. So this is all alleged. It didn't come out of the mouth directly of Micah Parsons, but there is a podcast called First in Pod, and let's just go to what they had to say. The guy on there said, Micah Parsons stole my cell phone to use it to compare Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts' stats. He was making a passionate argument for 30 minutes that Daniel Jones isn't any worse than Jalen Hurts. Well, Micah Parsons, if you want to be a Giant, just say that, my man. Northeast kid, went to Penn State. Giants were mocked to draft you. Micah's a smart player. He's a good football player. If Micah Parsons says that Daniel Jones is just as good as Jalen Hurts, maybe we should start listening. But maybe we should look a little bit deeper. Does Micah Parsons want to be a Giant? Does he want to be teammates with Daniel Jones? I will say this. If Micah ever becomes a free agent and gets out of control from the Dallas Cowboys, if he had a list like an NBA superstar, I believe the Giants would be a top 3 team that Micah Parsons would want to play for. I'll tell you this much. He's one of the best in the NFL, and the Dallas Cowboys do not deserve Micah Parsons. They are a joke of a franchise. They speak like they're on a pedestal that's on top of a black and white TV because that was the last time they won anything of any meaningful game. It's a joke. I hate the Cowboys. If you hate the Cowboys, like this video today. Let's go. Hit that thumbs up icon. If you hate the Cowboys, let's get to 1,000 likes on this piece. Let's roll. All right, we're going to close out today's show, taking more questions from the real ones. This first one's coming in via super chat from Gilly. Shout out to you, Gilly. Thanks for the support. Says, does Matt Peart make this roster? I do believe Peart will be a player on the final roster for the New York Giants when they trim it down to 53 players. I think being a swing tackle like Peart, who has experience playing in NFL snaps at the left tackle and right tackle spot, is valuable. The injuries have hurt him across his career. He's a former third-round pick, not by this regime, which matters, but obviously talent is there. I think just being a veteran at this point, which he is in his NFL career, and having meaningful snaps on both sides, being that swing tackle, while he's going to have to earn it and show he can stay healthy through the summer, I do. If I had to guess, I would say Peart does make this final roster. Mike G, what up, homie? Appreciate the super chat, boss. He says, MG. You're MG. Best initials. He says, who do you feel is going to be the rookie with the most impact year one, and what is your stat line prediction? So I'm going to say the rookie that has the most impact for the Giants in their rookie season, obviously. I'm going to go with John Michael Schmitz, the center, the second-round pick. I just think he's going to step in, and I think he's probably going to, if it's not him or Deonte Banks, I think they're going to be the leading snap getters of all of the rookies. I think he comes in, he's your day one starting center, and he kind of just changes the look, the feel, and the strength of this offensive line. Some of those great offensive lines start in the middle. They start with the center, and he's the guy that I think is going to be a New York Giant and a good one for a really, really long time. I thought about going with Deonte Banks with that answer, and he could be that guy. So stats for John Michael Schmitz, I'm not going to give any stats I'm looking for, but if Schmitz can end the season and we as fans look back and say he's our starting center for the next 10, 12 years, that's going to be a damn good feeling. John Michael Schmitz, I think he's going to be the guy, the rookie that has the most impact for Big Blue. We'll get to more questions coming up in a second, but I want you guys to take advantage of the deal of the day. Chatsports.com/Giants hat combo. Chatsports.com/Giants hat combo. Get a hat, get a t-shirt for $23.99. Take advantage of the deal before it ends. That link, chatsports.com/Giants hat combo, is in the comments and description of today's video. My man Bill, what up, Bill? Bill on the grill, the mesquite chicken. I need a piece, my man. He says, are we in or out on Yannick Ngakoue? Keep seeing that name. I haven't heard too much, Bill, to be honest with you, of the Giants being interested in Ngakoue. And I wish they were a little bit more interested, or they showed interest maybe that we're not seeing, because Ngakoue is the best available edge rusher left in NFL free agency. And although the Giants have Thibodeau, and although the Giants have Azeez Ojulari, they need another guy off the edge that can give these guys a break, because this ain't Madden. They're not playing 100 or 95% of the snaps, and injuries are a thing, and they have kind of followed Ojulari and Thibodeau around. If the Giants could get Ngakoue 1 year, $5 million, incentives up to $8 million, I would do it. Have to clear a little bit of cap. Maybe you cut Darnay Holmes, but I think signing Ngakoue, if you're the Giants and Joe Schoen, would be an absolute power move, and it would tell me, myself, and the fans that you believe this team could compete. Giants need another edge rusher. They need someone off the bench that's got some experience. And Ngakoue, he's the best available. Dragon Puppet, what's up, man? How do you feel about Saquon and his drama? I'm tired of it. I want it to be over. I want a deal to be done. I don't want the distraction and training camp coming up. I'm tired of hearing Brian Dable be asked these questions about Saquon, and he tells you, I'm not talking Saquon. And they ask, like, I'm over it. But that doesn't mean you hand out a bad deal. Stay firm in what you want if you're the Giants. The Giants have made it clear. They are not going to overpay Barkley. They're going to go off what the market is. And sadly for running backs, the running back market is non-existent. Do I think Saquon should get a long-term deal? Yes. Do I think the Giants are better with Saquon? Yes. Has he earned it? It's a weird word to use in sports because you pay for what they're going to do and not for what they have done. But if I was Joe Schoen, I would get a deal done with Saquon. It's going to cost you, at minimum, $23 million guaranteed, because if it doesn't, Saquon would just play on the franchise tag and get $22.5 million. I'm going to predict 4 years, $14 million average annual value, and half of it is guaranteed. That would be my vote, or my guess, I guess you could say, for Saquon Barkley. Camp Johnson, what's up, Brody? Says, getting a new dog. Names are between Cruz as in Victor Cruz, Tiki as in Tiki Barber, or Xavier as in Xavier McKinney. What's your pick? As a guy who grew up with a dog named Shockey after Jeremy Shockey, I feel like I'm really a good person to answer this. I'm going with Cruz, as in Victor Cruz. Call him Cruzy, Cruz. That would be my vote. I also like Justin Tuck. You can call him Tuck. I think that would be a cool one. I think O.C. Umanura, calling your dog O.C. would be pretty sweet. Those are some names from Giants players that I think would be pretty cool. Cam, we appreciate it. Aaron, what's going on, man? He says, do you think the Giants will carry 7 wide receivers like Slayton, Shep, Robinson, Hyatt, Campbell, Hodgins? This is what I would say. Isaiah Hodgins is a lock to make this roster. Darius Slayton is a lock to make this roster. Paris Campbell is a lock to make this roster. Jalen Hyatt is a lock to make this roster. That is 4 wide receivers. And let's say they keep 7. I believe Sterling Shepard, if healthy, is going to make this roster. If he's not healthy, I believe he will start on the PUP list. Wan'Dale Robinson, if healthy, is a lock to make this roster. The only reason he doesn't make the roster is because he also starts the season on the PUP list. I think those final 2 spots go between Jamison Crowder, Colin Johnson, Bryce Ford-Wheaton, and Jeff Smith. So, Aaron, I think you're on track. I think Slayton, Shep, Robinson, Hyatt, and Campbell and Hodgins are all going to make this roster. Then you're going to look at Colin Johnson, Bryce Ford-Wheaton. And I don't want people to sleep on Jeff Smith. He's a special team specialist. He has a lot of speed. The Giants signed him early in NFL free agency. I think they have a liking for him. So, Aaron, I think you're on the right track, my man. I really do. I think 7 receivers are who the Giants are going to keep this year. Rosario Goose. Giants are better than the Cowboys right now. I agree. We're smoking them week 1. We're smoking on that Cowboys pack week 1. Giants, Cowboys, Sunday Night Football, week 1. If you hate the Cowboys, type F Dallas down below. I do want to bring Nips into the show. We usually start our live shows with comment drivers like this, but we have grown a bunch on this channel. And I want to know where all the real ones are tapping in from. So shout out your city in the comment section down below. Let me know where you're watching the program from. I want to become more familiar with this audience. Shout out your city for me down below. And if you want to continue the conversation on the latest Giants news and rumors, I am down. Hit me up on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. Send me a DM or tweet at me, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Dude, my nose is like itchy. Sheesh. Great show today. Woo! Great show. Great freaking show, man. Good show. Shout out your city in the comment section. Brian's in Brooklyn. Gilly says, hey, yo, you missed my last super chat. What the hell, Seeps? Come on, Seepy. Love that. Gilly says, clown boys is the superior insult. Girls rule. I like that.
And I will
Clown
say,
boys.
I'm disappointed in myself, Gilly, because I was monitoring the chat when this happened, and you were making some good points. We need the girls as a diss.
I don't say cowgirls.
No, it's
not a diss.
Yeah, it's not a diss.
It's not a diss. It's not a diss. I just call them bums.
Bums, yeah.
They're
trash.
just bums.
Clown boys is
I
good,
like
though.
clown boys. That's
Clown
a good
boys
one.
Is good.
Yeah, cowgirls doesn't have much weight.
That's too 1950s.
Yeah. Grow up. As Mr. Rick says, he's in Alaska with Melissa. How's Melissa doing? I haven't seen her on the him or her on the channel recently. So no Corinne today. I didn't see Corinne in the chat at all.
She okay?
I hope Corinne's okay. I'm gonna have to message her. I don't remember the last time we did a live show without Corinne.
Seriously.
Like, it's been like over a year. Hope Corinne's okay. All righty. We're going to sign off on today's show. We've already been live for an hour and 18 minutes. I appreciate you guys for rocking out with us. I appreciate the very generous super chats. The love, it's felt. It's freaking just awesome, man, what you guys do and how you show love to us, man. Every time I end these shows, man, I'm speechless with just, what's the word I want? Appreciation. I am speechless with appreciation. So, guys, I love you guys. Rob says, wait, Marshall, is there a live show next Monday? TBD?
Yeah.
TBD right now. TBD. NBA free agency is really heating up. And I'll be live a lot on Knicks. So maybe, but also maybe not. Once I get an answer, I will post on the community tab on the channel, so we'll let you know. Ariel, where did you get the rumor of Micah Parsons wanting to be a Giant? He pretty much said Daniel Jones was the best quarterback in the NFC East.
Yeah, that was pretty much what he said.
Pretty much what
NFC.
he said. Seriously, though, Ariel, Micah Parsons said that Daniel Jones is just as good as Jalen Hurts. And there's rumors that he wants to be a Giant. Just what I'm saying. I can't reveal my sources. There are rumors that one day, if things go south with the Cowboys, he may want to be a Giant.
I could so see him doing that.
He is such a
just
Giant.
to stick it to the Cowboys.
Stick it to the boys.
Yeah.
The Northeast kid comes on home. All righty. We're going to bounce up out of here. We've been live for an hour and 20. Thank you, guys. Love y'all. We'll have videos out every day, remainder of the week. Thank you.